Hello guys, welcome back. More EU4. Denmark has embraced the Renaissance. We have not yet, I think. No. Stockholm is developing though. We're gaining it at an incredibly slow speed, but now that Denmark has embraced it, it will spread into our land by default. We are falling very far behind on the tech points, but that only means we can store more up for later, and I'm probably not going to tech up before we get to embrace Renaissance. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Let us beef up the army a little bit. Now that we are now that Denmark is out of war, they might be looking at us, but we have Poland to defend us if that were to happen, and Lithuania's meager 14,000 troops. Meager and meager, it's something. Austria, I am friendly to you. Could you wink wink, wink wink, maybe get the hint? Maybe do the thing. Still Sigmund Casimir's von Wetten. Same as Denmark, right? No, that's von Wittelsbach. Let's get you over there. Need another cavalry. We need to look big, essentially, so that Denmark doesn't get any funny ideas. Boop. Our troops have been training a lot. They're drilling. Drilling is good. Drilling is added recently. I don't know if I've explained what it does, but when you drill, you can drill from 0 to 100, and when you drill to max and stop drilling, it's essentially like disciplining your troops and like keeping them on like professional standards. And good trained troops are very good. Of course, just like good troops, like the name you see, I'm not very eloquent with words today. Apparently, when you have been drilling your troops, they do things better, because if you beat something into them, they will do things automatically when in stressed situations, which is why drilling is good even in real life. Or it was. It still is, I guess. I'm not a military man. Anyway, in game mechanics, drilling does four things. It increases land fire damage, it increases shock damage, and it reduces fire and shock damage received, which is great. Especially stacked with all the other combat modifiers, like the different points, as you can see here. It also stacks with discipline, it also stacks with infantry and cavalry and artillery combat ability. So, drilling is good, but when you stop drilling, this does not stay static, it starts to drop immediately. Also, if you take damage from attrition, if your units lose troops, you will lose a proportionate amount of drilling as well. If an entire unit gets wiped out, but you still keep the company, and you start reinforcing, it starts at 0 army drill, because the new recruits are not drilled, but the old ones are, you know, sort of. That's how that works. Drilling is good because you can start getting army professionalism, which does almost the same things as the ones I said before, but this is a modifier that is static, sort of. Whenever you drill, this increases at a very, very mediocre and small pace. But there are very few events that lower it, and it doesn't lower naturally. And it represents how professional your army is. And there are increments that does several things. For example, when we get to 20% army professionalism, we can build supply depots to increase a province. We essentially spend military power to create bigger supply limit in a province, which can be good if you expect to go into Russia in winter, but we're not going to do that. Of course we're not going to do that. Anyway, if you recruit mercenaries, this will go down, because mercenaries are not drilled regular soldiers. This only applies. Drilling and army professionalism only applies to regular troops, not mercs. That's something good to know. So as you can see, yearly gain is 0.7. Yearly gain is 0.7. We see how little it is. But you immediately gain 1% if you recruit a general. So I could spend all my hard-earned military power, just click, and just spam it and gain a whole lot of professionalism. Anyway, if we get to 40%, you may refill a garrison instantly from the manpower stock instead of letting it go. Instead of letting it replenish on its own, we can regain manpower if we disband troops. Usually it just deletes the troops. For some reason they don't go home, we just take them around the shed and summarily execute them behind the corner. Just like they should be. I mean, what? This reduces the morale damage taken by reserve troops, and reserve troops are troops that are in a battle but they are not in the firing line. So for example, if you have too much infantry to engage the enemy's front line, it will be put in the back line, and they are reserves for when the front line collapses. They are forward. And they will take less morale damage if we reach this. And at this point we get 50% less general costs, which is fantastic. I haven't gotten this yet, but I can imagine it being absolutely fabulous. And it also increases the army drill gain modifier, which it doesn't matter for the army professionalism, but if we can double how fast we can drill our armies, these modifiers are good, you know? Anyway, as I was saying, this decreases merc cost, but you don't want to have mercs if you get army professionalism. It's a last pitch effort. If you have very little army professionalism, you can recruit as many mercs as you want, because this here doesn't matter. It's only once you start hitting these points that maybe you should stop using mercs. It also increases available mercs, siege ability, land fire damage, and shock damage. So this stacks with this, which is great. Anyway, Poland wants us to help in the war against Magdeburg and Teutons. Of course we're going to do that. There is no option. Since I'm not going to press this button until we get Renaissance, maybe I should pick this. Private to Marshal, maybe. Might consider it. I might consider it, but I'm not going to. Anyway, Poland is going strong, and that's all good. Heresy! 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 Yeah. We will gain the admin points. Our Edvard Janberg, he's not a heretic, as you can see, he's Catholic, and he is Swedish. Get your hands off me, you filthy inquisitor. There is no heresy here. We're earning very little money because our boats are docked up due to the war, which, funnily, affected our income a lot. So I was going to recruit some more men, but maybe that's not as smart. Oh, and also our forts turned on, of course. That was quick. Oh, okay, that's only with Magdeburg, I see. Magdeburg is not... Magdeburg? No, Magdeburg is not a very large nation. Could go and ally Brandenburg. Brandenburg has potential to become big, but they didn't get Neumark back, which is now Santok. Now Poland holds it, and they didn't get Königsberg or Ermland or Memel. I think they need to create Prussia. Prussia. Recall that, recall that. Did any of them flip friendly? Nope, of course not. It says Paradox has promised us that if we hit the 100 opinion and above, it should instantly flip friendly, but you know, it doesn't do that. Anyway, our total income is very high apparently. Don't know from what, but we managed to suddenly... Is it? It might be because Venice, Austria lowered the trade mod. No, I don't know. We got high income. We can press this button to get the construction cost and construction time modifiers down. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it there, hanging. As I said, we could recruit some more troops. It's a thing that could happen between this episode and the next one I record. I need to go get some more coffee. Could you guys remind me of that? No, thank you for reminding me. Thank you. Good. Let us recruit those are horses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Innovativeness is decreasing because we're falling behind. I could take this tech, but it's unimaginably expensive. Unimaginably expensive. I should save money because embracing that is going to cost a lot. We're earning nothing right now. Might as well do this. Mothball the forts. We don't need them as of yet. Drill those men. Drill them good. There we go. Poland annexed them all. Pomerania declared us their rival, which means we can now declare them our rival. Mamluks increased the cost of paper. Well, not increase the cost, but increase the value because they had an event pop. That's about managing empire. Pomerania, how about you go take your merchants and do something with them instead of bothering me? We now have more diplomatic slots open. What happened? I don't know. Do we want to ally Brandenburg? Don't really want to, but there's a lot of people who would want to be our ally. Could ally Livonian Order. This would only be good if we weren't waiting on the tech, so I'm just gonna lose the innovativeness since we didn't have any to begin with. If we were ahead of tech and had embraced Renaissance, I would immediately press to get more innovativeness, but we're not. So that's okay. We are going to do good in battle. Denmark, I am coming for my core. Just you wait. Treason against Sweden. Oh, the nobility. We must punish them. They were trying to cheat on recruitment standards. Holy crap. 5-3-2. 5 doesn't matter for us, but the 3 is good, and the 2 is fantastic. You're better than Sigvard Vanir. Adolf Fredrik Sture. Isn't that one of the old Swedish guys? The old Swedish families? Sture Etten? Maybe? I remember playing Sverige at one point. It's a Swedish game about the Swedish thrones. Made by the same people who made this game, which is fantastic. I learned that the people who made Sverige was actually Paradox. Or what they were called before they became Paradox Interactive. That was very fun. And it makes a lot of sense that I would suddenly like all the... Oh, they didn't annex Teutons. Okay. Ottoman goes for an early golden era, which is weird if you ask me. But who am I to tell Osmanoglu what to do? Is it Osman? No, it's Murad III Osmanoglu. He doesn't have an heir yet, but he will. Truce with Novgorod has ended. Wait, we had a truce with Novgorod? Doesn't matter. New Emperor! Posthumous? Is he dead and they're I'm trying to make a joke here. I'm failing super hard. Nope, doesn't matter. Denmark. Lithuania would help us. They have a lot of troops, but they don't seem to have a lot of manpower. Do they? What is the status of their armies? Poland and Lithuania. They do have. So why are you taking? Why are you taking attrition? Is it just this province? No. I'm so confused. Anyway, we could go to war with Denmark. Apparently, Lithuania would back us up there. But I would rather like for us to wait for Poland to join, and we are very close to that. I like this music, it's good. Could get ourselves a new cav, but as I said before, I'm waiting for the tech, and I don't think I want to go to war. Denmark is the same military tech as we are, but I would like to wait for us to hit 7. Where are we learning about Mamluks? Oh, nice. Thank you. Improving the capital usually removes a tax modifier from somewhere else nearby, but this, since we have calm, apparently we could just tell them to. Why don't you just not make a fuzz? Okay, the Burgundian inheritance. If the last Duke of Burgundy dies, everyone inherits his lands, or some people inherit his lands. It triggers the Burgundian inheritance, and Castile got it. It's actually the most historical one, which is funny. Usually Austria and France splits up the land. Since the Duke of Burgundy is dead, all his little vassals are popped out. And oh, Provence got French Comte. Lorraine, Barrois. Interesting, but Castile did manage to get most of it, apparently, which is okay. Natural scientist is dead. Venice has declared. Can I take you? No, I would like to, but I can't do that. Venice has declared Austria to be their rival. That's what I'm trying to say. We have Socinian heretics in Kalmar and Teoharden. Where the hell is that? No, seriously. What? Is this what they called Småland before? I'm confused. Anyway, phew, sorry. that took me a little bit by surprise. I was like, what the hell is going on? Have I missed something? Am I wrong? And is my geography just done? Is it gone? Have I learned nothing? Do I know nothing? Obviously I know nothing, but Sigismund becomes Finnish. Do I care? Is this because one of these guys are Finnish? Oh dear. They're Finnish, aren't they? Let's see. But we've accepted them though. Do we want to lose admin power for that? Don't really want to lose more legitimacy. I guess we're going to have to. Makes me sad. I just hired you, man! You're oh dear. I'm just making troubles for myself, aren't I? It doesn't matter. I was looking at this and I'm going to do this. Oop. Infantry combat ability is fantastic. Since we won't be teching up for a while, we have reached a new level of army professionalism. Could spend our tech points to force Renaissance here, like so. Don't do this at home, kids. Just spent a lot of points, but you know, increasing the strength of our capital is an honor for the Swedish people. And as a monarch, I feel that that's a good thing to do. So maybe you should mind your own goddamn business, viewer. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, trigger it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Last jousting tournament. Extra morale of armies for 20 years. Absolutely. We almost had enough to do anything here. But not quite. Yes, we have triggered it in Stockholm, and we could take some loans and embrace it. I might do that. And by might, I mean I am definitely going to do that. Brace! Here we go, we can finally tech up. Denmark, what's your... Nope, nothing. How about I just boop and boop and boop. Thank you very much. Now I have another one of these. What do I want here? Trade would be good. Maritime might be fine, because we need it maybe. Admin might be good. Economic might be good. Innovative might be good. Innovative would be fantastic. You know what? I sold myself. Quality and innovative does the thing. It allows us to have. Let's see here if I can find it. Here we go. No? There we go. If you look at the modern firearm techniques, third from the bottom, it gives us another 20% infantry combat ability, which, stacking all our bonuses, 20 from here, 10 from here, and 20 from the combined here, which we will pay one military point with, I think, it will allow us to have infantry that fight 50% better than every other infantry in the nation. It's usually the best thing. So that's a no-brainer. And with that, thank you guys for watching. It's been an interesting episode. We managed to trigger the Renaissance and embrace it, and we improved our capital a little bit. And moving on, going to declare war on Denmark. Thank you for watching. See you next time.